All right. Hello. Today is Tuesday, February 9th, 2021. 2021. It's 1:40-ish in the afternoon. It's a little chilly today compared to yesterday. It's kind of overcast. It's about 60 degrees, which probably isn't cold to a lot of people, but in Las Vegas, that's kind of chilly. So I have my jacket on. This jacket I got from CES last year, 2020. Shout out to SK. But anyways, today I wanted to kind of talk about perspective and what perspective means to me and how it affects me, how it affects our relationships with people. In my experience, I always try to look at everything very objectively and take my emotions out of it and keep it very logical, but I know sometimes that your emotions can kind of mess with your perspective and it can kind of give you a different perspective. And I think what is really valuable is when we take our emotions out of a situation and look at it from somebody else's perspective. And mainly because I was thinking a lot about trauma and abuse and how it affects our perspectives, and mainly just watching AOC's recount of the January 6th insurrection and how some people were telling her to shut up, get over it, you're making mountains out of molehills, you weren't really in any danger, all that kind of stuff, and how she said that those are tactics that abusers use so that they can continue their abuse. And I have experienced abuse in my life, and I have also experienced those gaslighting tactics. And they come from people that you wouldn't even expect to hear that from. And this is why I was so upset yesterday, was I felt like nobody was in my corner because I experienced some trauma and everybody's telling me to get over it. Get over it, get over it, apologize. Even though it wasn't even anything that I did, I had to apologize. And that was what was so frustrating to me, is why do I have to apologize to somebody who abused me? And I'm not going to go into specifics or details or anything, but it's really disheartening when people that you thought were going to be on your side are no, just try to keep the peace, just apologize to keep the peace. And I'm tired of it. I'm tired of sweeping shit under the rug. I'm tired of being a doormat. I'm tired of letting people tell me that I need to apologize when I didn't even do anything. And I'm sorry if this is a little ranty, but it's bullshit. It's fucking bullshit. So I'm done with that. If there's a big rift, so what? Let it be, because I did my part. I did apologize. Even though I didn't do anything wrong. There was none of my actions, none of my words were in the wrong. And the fact that I still had to apologize for somebody to lay their hands on me, somebody laid their hands on me and I had to apologize to them. And even in that apology, this person still couldn't accept it. They were like, well, you think I abused you. And it's that was a fact. You left a bruise on my arm. How much more clear do I have to be about this? That is a fact. Looking at the situation objectively, you laid your hands on me, there was a bruise left on my arm, and yet here I am trying to keep the peace and apologizing to you, and you still can't even accept the apology. It's I can only do so much. I can only put my head out there so much and get burned so many times until I'm just done. I'm completely emotionally, mentally checked out because there's just no resolving this situation. And it's really sad. But at the same time, that's what needs to happen. Maybe this other person has some trauma that they need to work through. Maybe this person has some issues that they need to work through themselves. Maybe this person needs to confront some things in themselves so that they can realize an adult man should never, ever, 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 ever put his hands on an adult woman. There's no justification. None. Zero. Zip. Zilch. I don't care what you say is justified. There is zero justification for that. In my mind. I guess in my opinion. But I don't even think that's an opinion. I think that's a cold, hard fact. There's never a justification for violence. So, anyways, I'm back here at the skate park. I'm gonna go strap on my skates. I'm gonna keep rolling, keep my chin up, put my pads on, work on a few new skills today, and just skate through it. Just keep going, keep rolling. And every day is gonna get easier. I know it is. But there's just some things that I have to get off my chest before I can keep going. And if that means to the YouTube world or to whoever, that's who I'm going to tell it to, because apparently the people that I want to hear me aren't hearing me, and that's their loss. I wish that they would see what I see. I wish they would see things from my perspective. I wish they would kind of put themselves in my shoes, because I put myself in their shoes and I already know what they're feeling. I can see how to them it seems worse from their perspective. But I didn't do anything. That's the thing. It's like, it's something that I didn't even do that I got punished for and I had to apologize for. And like I said, watching AOC's video about trauma and how trauma compounds on itself, and how a way to heal that trauma is by telling your story. And sometimes telling that story multiple times over and over and over again. So I'm really hoping that this can help me heal. It can help my trauma kind of be released and, get a good workout during the process. So yeah, I'm gonna put my skates on and we're gonna see how today goes. Wish me luck. All right, I'm back. Skated for about an hour. It was difficult to feel it today. I did start my period, so I think that is, of course, a contributing factor. But I'm seeing my progress finally. I'm really getting my transition down. Like, I'm starting to be able to do it at a faster speed, and my toe stops are getting on point. I barely fell today, and if I did fall, it was more like a wobbly, kind of touching my hands to the ground fall. It wasn't like a huge kersplat. But I just always feel so much better after just skating a couple laps, kind of getting warmed up a little bit. It's like, it's so nice. And breaking a little sweat, it just kind of makes me forget about everything. I put on some good like 70s, 80s music. I skate around. Feels like I'm flying. And something I kind of want to share. My grandpa died in 2017. He was 91, and I remember the last time I saw him, he was standing on his front porch. He was saying goodbye to us. We were all loading up to get in the car. I put all my stuff in the car, and I went back and I gave him a hug, and I told him I loved him. And he said, "I love you too." And that was like one of the very few times he ever said I love you. He was very, very choosy with that word. He didn't say it very often, and I felt so happy. It was like, oh my gosh. Like, I needed that validation, you know? And literally, that was for his 90th birthday, and literally a year later, we were back at his house for his funeral. And I remember as we were leaving his house, same thing, packing up the car, I looked back at his front porch where he was standing a year earlier, and I saw a little hummingbird. And I said, "Guys, he's here." And I don't know if anybody heard me, but I knew that was him because it was the exact same spot that he was a year earlier. And I needed that validation, knowing that he was still here. And the reason I'm telling this story is because today's National Pizza Day, so Dylan wanted me to order a pizza before I left the park today. And I was on my phone, and my phone died before I could hit order. And I was like, well, okay, I'll just go in my car, and I have a charger in here. So I was like, I'll just pack up my stuff, take off my skates, and I'll go into the car and charge my phone, and then I'll order the pizza. And as I was walking out, I had taken off all my gear, put everything in my little bag, and as I was walking out of the park, there was a hummingbird sitting on the fence. And as I got closer and closer, he didn't move. And I looked at him and I thought, how long have you been watching me? Have you been sitting here this whole time? And it just made me realize that he's always watching. No matter where I'm at, he's always here, and he's always watching me, and he's always making sure that I'm doing okay. I'm learning the lessons that I need to learn. I'm still moving forward. I'm putting on my skates, and I'm keeping rolling. And it just made me so happy. I was like, you know, I could be having such a shit day, but just seeing him there watching me is just like, that's all I need. I just need that validation of I'm being seen, even if I'm the only one here, which I am. Anytime I come to this park, I'm the only one here. I mean, there's some people like, you know, skateboarding in the basketball hoop area, but as far as the street hockey rink goes, I'm the only one. And I just know that these little steps that I'm taking, the little moves I'm making while nobody's watching, that's what counts. And that's what's gonna set me ahead, and that's what's eventually gonna open the floodgates for more and more abundance. So I guess I'm kind of talking to myself when I'm saying this, but just remember, even if it's 20 minutes, even if it's 10 minutes of doing anything that makes you happy, something that brings out your inner child, just do it. You'll feel so much better. Even if you're on your period, even if you're carrying all this trauma, those little steps will help put you in motion and keep you in motion. So, happy, happy, happy. Anyways, gotta order this pizza now, so love you. See you tomorrow.